Grilling is taking a piece of meat, fish, or even a vegetable and cooking it in a dry heat process. That dry heat process is usually done over a grill pan, perhaps a char grill, a wood fire grill. It's open heat, and it's a dry process, not using any moisture. Unlike braising, there's no sauce from it. They're roasting, there's no jus, so it's a dry process, and that's why sometimes you'll see chutneys and salsas, things that go with grilling items, because this way here they add flavor, because the grilling item itself is produced the flavor in the grilling of the meat. So here we have two beautiful pieces of pork, and we're going to take off the herbs. These have been marinating, just a little olive oil, a little salt, and some herbs. And you see here, we're going to lay it right on our grill. And you can hear that nice grill sound, nice heat. And again, dry heat process. The idea here is to form a crust, and that's really like the mallet process, which really forms the crust, has flavors, the proteins start to come together, and the meat itself really seals in all the juices. So all those flavors, by that crust forming, the juices of the meat get sealed in, and all that flavor is protected, and of course, you have a nice process. When you salt your meat is really your choice. Salt, don't forget though, does tend to dry out, so it sucks up the liquid, takes out the juices. So if you salt your meats too early, then they might run. So I like salting them right when I'm grilling and doing that process. So here we're just going to take a little look. Beautiful. We have these grill marks, and we're going to put it and reverse it. And this is going to make the really cool grill lines, sometimes that you see when you see those crisscrosses, which is called a quadriller, French term. But it makes those crosses, that makes those beautiful grill marks to show it's been grilled. Now what you want to be careful of is that the heat is somewhat controlled, because if the heat is too high, then you could form and start charring your food, and you really don't want that burnt char look, because when it starts to get too dark or starts to burn flavor is just not very flavorful. So you want nice brown, you want that golden brown, you want that nice caramelization. And here we have, you see right here, we have the nice lines going both ways. You see here the juices are sealed in the meat. So we're just going to keep cooking this for a couple of minutes on each side. And again, time varies. Time varies on the thickness of the meat. So here we have maybe about a quarter-inch slices of pork. But of course, if you want half-inch or the real thick pork chops, those would take longer. In some processes, even when you grill, you must finish off in the oven. So sometimes you take your grill item, a little butter or fat, put it in the oven to finish because they're too fat. Here we have another beautiful piece. And the one thing is, once your meats are grilled, there's two tricks to making sure they're flavorful, moist, and juicy. And really, that's using a rack. This is simply a rack here that the meats, so if you're working a grill station, let's say at a restaurant, or you're doing a competition, you want to have a little pan with this rack, because what's going to happen is after we grill our meat and they're cooked, you want it to rest a little. You want those juices to settle. And to do that, you also need some air coming up, okay? You need some circulation. If you don't have that circulation, if you put the meat flat in the pan, guess what's going to happen? Everything's going to start steaming, the juices are going to run out, and then when you go to eat that piece of meat, unfortunately, it's going to be very dry and not as flavorful. So because these are nice and thin, they're almost done. And then for service, we would just simply put these on the rack, let them rest 2 to 3 minutes, maybe 5 minutes, and then you would serve it to your customer, and then they would slice it. It's very important to let it rest. This is a technique that really is underutilized. Sometimes people take the steak right off the grill, you put it on a plate, and that's why you'll notice when that happens, whenever you see blood or juices running out, you say, wow, what is that? The meat has not had a chance to rest. The juices have not had a chance to settle within the membranes and the protein, and it really, sometimes when you cut it too early and everything runs out, you end up with dry, flavorless meat. But here we go. We have beautiful grilled pork medallions. As you see here, the nice quad, the beautiful crisscrosses, golden brown, sealed in meat, flavorful. You can finish it with, if you liked, you can just throw a little extra virgin olive oil. You can do a flavored butter. Here we have a smoked sea salt. So we're just going to take a little touch of that smoked sea salt, give that pork chop just a little bit more flavor. And here you have grilled pork medallions using the grilling technique.